speak about, because I think a lot of people in my generation might not feel like they want kids. And I was discussing it with a few people who were my mum's generation. And they said, oh, at your age, the idea of a kid terrified me. I did not want to do anything with children. And then one day they would wake up and it was like, I need a child in their head. And it's something that is profoundly biological that you can only understand, I suppose, once you feel it. And I think that if someone was to say, right, you can't have a kid, you can have a kid. I mean, from a social justice perspective, it's just impossible. But what I think is, it's a huge question, because I think deep down, a lot of people think that there's too many of us. But how do you resolve that? How do you address that? So it's a complicated one, because also in the matter of education takes time. I don't know if we have 20 years. And the last thing is that our educational systems for the last, I would say, 2 centuries are based on a system that is disciplinary, but like to each field its own. So you have economists who have studied economics, but who don't study biology. You have ecologists who don't understand finance, who just see the side effects of finance and markets and capitalism, and you say, we need to destroy capitalism. You have engineers who don't understand that when you're going to build a windmill for wind energy, you have to destroy an ecosystem that's perfectly functional. And, electric cars, there's so much problems with electric cars, but it's not comfortable to look at them, right? You have to mine for lithium. Lithium is a disgusting source to mine. You can't recycle the batteries. So again, these solutions that we find, they're great, but they're not long-term, because what happens when your electric car doesn't work anymore? What happens when the windmill, solar panels, glass, still can't recycle it. You have to clean it every day, otherwise it doesn't work. You have to use chemicals. So there's all these little things that you find a solution, but because you're not addressing complexity, you're reducing the problem to make it easier to address. There's going to be more issues on the long term. And that, for me, is the one thing that our civilizations and our societies have to learn to tackle. And maybe with AI, and that's complexity. And the degree